and they're away cleanly there. And Iheme has absolutely rocketed out of the blocks there. He's leagues ahead of the rest of the field there. What a dominant run that was from Iheme.
Okay, so here's the thing about prodigies. Everyone calls someone a prodigy until you put two of them next to each other, and suddenly the word doesn't feel big enough anymore. And that's exactly where we are right now in 2026. Because we have two teenagers who are developing so fast that the conversation about who's better is actually becoming a legitimate argument, and depending on which angle you come from, you can make a case for either side.
Away, he got not such a good start tonight. Kelly just leads him from Kepagelli. Out wide, Cassiano and John. Now Gout starts to stretch away, and stretch away he does, and he's done
So
it.
let's actually make both cases properly, starting from the beginning. Gout Gout is 18 years old. At 13, he ran 11.15 for the 100. And from there, every single year, without exception, he got faster. At 14, he ran 10.57. At 15, 10.43. At 16, 10.17. The progression in the 100 alone is almost unreasonable to look at. That's over half a second faster across 4 years of junior athletics. Now here's where Divine Iheme enters this conversation, and why it stops being one-sided very quickly. Iheme is 16. At 14, he was running 6.94 indoors for 60 meters and 10.56 wind-assisted for the 100, already winning every age group competition in Britain he entered. By 15, he ran 6.71 for the 60 in January 2025, then went outdoors and ran 10.29 for the 100 at 15 years old. And if you're wondering how that stacks up against where Gout was at 15, Gout's 100 best at 15 was 10.43. Iheme ran 10.29 at the same age. That's not a small thing. Don't forget to hit the sub button. It would mean so much for the channel. Also, correct me if I am wrong in pronunciation. Is it Iheme or Iheme? Let me know in the comments. Anyway, back to the video. So here is the progression comparison that actually tells the story. At 15, Divine Iheme had Gout beat in the 100. At 16, Gout's best was 10.17, and Iheme is already at 10.29, still behind on that one, but he hasn't hit his outdoor season yet this year. The indoor 60 though? Gout's only 60-meter time on record is a 6.98 from 2024 at 16. Divine is running 6.68 at 16. That's a 30 millisecond gap in Iheme's favor over the same distance at the same age. Now, obviously the counter to all of that is simple. Gout isn't primarily a 60-meter guy. He's a 100 and 200 specialist. And the 200 is where his development genuinely separates him from almost every junior athlete on Earth. At 14, he ran 21.14. At 15, 20.87. At 16, 20.04. At 17, 20.02. At a Diamond League meet in Ostrava. That 200 progression is extraordinary, and it's something Divine hasn't matched yet. His best 200 right now is 21.28, which is great. But Gout was already dipping under 21 at 14.
Driving to try and claim that silver. Divine Iheme gonna cruise through 20.
So, will they actually meet this year? The honest answer is probably not. At least not in the way you and I would want. The most likely stage for a junior showdown is the World Athletics Under-20 Championships in Eugene in August, and Gout is certainly going to be there. He's already skipped the Commonwealth Games specifically to focus on it. It's his last year being eligible, and he has unfinished business after a silver in the 200 at the 2024 edition. Divine Iheme is a different story. He'll be 16 when those championships happen, and while he is absolutely fast enough to compete, UK athletics may not send him. Federations are often cautious about throwing very young athletes into junior championships before their time, and there are under 18 European competitions that might make more sense for where he is in his development. So, the first real head-to-head might not actually happen until 2027 or 2028, when Iheme ages fully into the 18 or 19 age class. And honestly, that might be the better story anyway, because right now, Gout is already close to elite senior level and Iheme is still running out of age group records to break. By the time they actually share a track, this debate might have a very different perspective. So between Gout and Divine, who do you think might be the next fastest man in the world?